January, February, March 2026 has in fact been a pretty kind year for mobile gaming, and so was April. Some big, some new, some even offline. Hello friends, this is MOBO, and here are over 25 new mobile games of April you must try on Android and iOS while it's still hot. Now, first of all, it's been quite a long time coming, but all waits finally come to an end, and Division Resurgence is now finally here. Not only is it a free-to-play game, it's pretty wild. You're getting the full Division loop, the cover shooting, the looting, open world New York, all of it, and all that without feeling dumbed down either. Movement of the gunplay is pretty smooth, especially if you're plugging in a controller. Co-op still hits the way you'd expect. Gameplay is the real win, as lots of critics stated. It really nails that core experience, but the story is kind of forgettable and progression can get a little grindy. Still, for a mobile shooter, a free game, and something with such quality, it is surprisingly close to the real thing. Coming up behind that at number 2, we have a bus simulator India, also called and titled in its description, going by the name Bussin'. So this one's for, I would say, anyone who's ever wondered what it's really like driving a bus through India. That without the stress of actual traffic, although there's traffic in this game. It really drops you into some nice, realistic Indian roads, city streets, up to wide open highways. Pretty chaotic. It's got all the honking, certainly make you feel like you're behind the wheel in India, but the controls are pretty simple, intuitive. You've got a crazy selection of buses and the graphics are pretty solid. It's not just solo cruising either, this one. There is online multiplayer, although it's a playable offline game, and developers are pretty much updating it every day. Drop Shot Mobile, I'd say, is one of those rare indie shooting games that actually feels alive and fresh. The story is you're a guy bitten by a radioactive dragon, and now you're running down through a very, almost massive, vertical type of arena, just blasting, dodging, and chaining power-ups like it's sort of Apex Legendy. It's the kind you gotta think fast, fight boss fights in the middle of the air, and it's not about realism either, it's about raw momentum and just fun. The controls are pretty sharp for touch, performance is smooth, and the whole absurd premise turns each descent into a spectacle at a point. If you want an arcade first-person shooter with personality and pace, this is it. It's free online of just over 2 GB in size, definitely a hit. Well, a Sea of Stars has finally landed on mobile, and yeah, it's actually pretty much as good as everyone expected. This is that classic style RPG done right, with clean pixel art, a great soundtrack, and combat that actually keeps you engaged. And it doesn't drag either with the mechanics. No random encounters, no endless grinding with this game. It's just smooth exploration and some solid pacing and a good story, which also leans into that old school chosen heroes type of vibe. But it's got charm and some nice twists along the story. You can fish, cook, sail around. It's got the cozy adventure feel. Only downside is the mobile version is missing some extras, but it actually really hits on the go. Up at number 5, we've got Off-Road Snow Driving Runner. Not messing around. See, this ain't arcade riding here. You're really type of battling winter. It's deep snow, mud pits, frozen rivers, slippery ice. Every meter matters. You've got trucks, 4x4s, even tractors, each handling differently, and the terrain actually reacts to your movement. Tires sing, snow compresses, and muds shift. It's got first-person driving that makes it feel intense, but you can always hop out, check your routes, and even use a winch to pull yourself free. Not to mention the fuel management system adds another layer of strategy depth that's pretty brutal, but it's hella fun.
The Grand Launch!
Up and coming at number 6, it is probably the biggest one of the bunch, the famous Cookie Run, the new game OvenSmash. It's technically the Cookie Run we know, but turned into a real-time PvP arena strategy. Like, forget side-scrolling, this one's about short, hard matches that hit deep and they go by pretty fast, like 3 minutes max, so every second counts. You pick your cookie, choose your role, it's a mage, tank, assassin, whatever fits your style, and then it's just pure mechanical skill and team play. OvenSmash is about outplaying your opponents and not grinding levels for once. Anyway, pre-registration is live and they're throwing in coins, crystals, exclusives, you name it. Ragnarok Origin Classic came around here this week earlier, and today it went finally global, and it's multi-platform, so whether you're on PC or mobile, you're pretty much covered. You can grab it straight from the Google Play Store, the Apple Store, or the official PC client. There's no excuse. Just keep in mind, this ain't just a nostalgia trip. Gravity, the team, has kept all the classic charm from the original Ragnarok Online, the world, the classes, the adventure, but they've simplified growth mechanics so it's easier to jump in and actually have fun without feeling like you're grinding forever. They've also got a monthly pass system, and it's just overall really delivering right now. It's a must-play for old school fans and new players alike. Number 8, we've got the game Gun God. I'm gonna be pretty brief to the point. The story with this game is this is an arena shooter, first-person shooter, and say if your phone is full and you're just a little tired of lag killing your matches, well, it might just be your new best friend, because this is a 5v5 that is about just 40 megabytes. Yeah, that's right, 40 freaking megabytes, and somehow still packs all the charm you could want. Smooth gameplay, no lag, no need for an expensive phone. The game doesn't just play it safe either. There's over 20 different modes, classic team deathmatch, etc. Controls are pretty simple. It's got auto aim, make it easy, pretty funny, and I would say it's just perfect for when you want to pop in and fight without hassle. Downloaded nearly 500,000 times in like no more than a week. Number 9, we have another crash test game. It's a new one from an old team, one that has all the right and wrong qualities of a stunt or crashing sim. And it's actually next level car destruction stuff. In fact, it's the next work of the folks who brought Vaz Crash Test, the second game, now back with more rides, physics, more ways to wreck everything around. And this ain't just a driving game, it's a pretty hardcore physics sort of playground for folks with anger management issues like myself. Put into numbers, it's just total damage calculated into cash. So the question is, how much have you destroyed by the end of each turn? It's also got better textures, lighting, and engine sounds as well. Much more. Number 10, we've got the famous up-and-coming Mongol Stardive finally locking in its global launch. It's coming up pretty fast. Netmarble confirmed that the game will release in less than a week. In fact, on April 15 on iOS and Android and PC, bringing back some good old entertainment, but on a much bigger scale. See, Mongol is actually an action RPG, sort of a AAA right now. It's made with the Unreal Engine 5. There's a full open world and a cinematic story following a duo. If you're new to it, wondering why it's making so much noise and hype right now, it's because of the monster link system it's got, where instead of collecting creatures like Pokemon, these little monsters act more like battle partners that plug directly in your character's abilities and combos mid-fight. Check it out, actually, it's a pretty big one, maybe much more than just 3 gigabytes right now. It's coming to both Android and iOS, like I said, in a week. With that being said, War Drone Strike is another sort of upcoming. It's not available globally, but maybe you're lucky enough to play it. It's just pretty much raw war from above, and it's pretty addictive. So you're not just sitting here tapping buttons with this game, you're technically grabbing the whole sky with all sorts of drones, just shooting missiles, blowing tanks, and taking out military and enemy bases like you're a professional. The controls are pretty smooth, aiming feels right, tight, the explosions actually make you either depressed or grin depending on your sympathy. There's depth with this game. Each mission ramps up the challenge, so you'll deal with different, stuff like thermal scopes, zoom targeting, heavy guns, new challenges, it's all there. And the best part is, well, offline mode means you can wreak havoc anywhere you want. It is tactical, technically, drone madness done right. Alright, check this out. Pavement Surfers, basically the skateboarding game we get way too comfortable losing time with from time to time, specifically with those of us who never actually really skated before. Forget parks and stuff, this one drops you straight into desert drainage ditches. And it's just you, you're bored, and just a ton of concrete to shred. Pretty dangerous, because there's walls, rocks, streams, it's all about reflexes and the flow, but it really feels amazing when you hit it right. The graphics are pretty clean, it's crisp, polished, there's progression, better handling, more stability, more boards. I don't know, if you've ever wanted to shred like a legend in a crazy off-the-map skate zone, well, Pavement Surfer is probably right for you.
It's a rocket launch pad!
This took a good few months to be even announced. Walter the Wizard's finally hitting Android, and it's one of those weirdly cool little sandbox experiences you don't really get on mobile, where you're basically just messing around in a wizard tower, mixing, throwing stuff, and seeing what happens, you know, with a talking skull guiding and occasionally roasting you the whole time. It's more about experimenting this game than winning, which honestly makes it sort of stand out in a big way. But the real win with this game is it's going free to try, so you can jump in and see if it really clicks before paying. If you like physics-based VR sort of games and just vibing with magic, this might really surprise you. It's actually available now on the Apple Store. Technically speaking, we've had better anime school sim games, but when we get a new one, we need to talk about it. And School Life Anime Sim is one of those little new sandbox indie games where you can literally do whatever you want. It might not carry over a good quality of content, but it's an anime RPG in a pretty big high school, and it's not just the classes and the boring stuff either. You can really fly around with jetpacks, Grand Theft Auto, explore the whole town, just mess around with whatever you want. It's got the mix of chill and naughtiness, like 1 minute you're making friends, talking to your crush, the next one you're throwing hands and fighting. Nothing too serious. It's just fun, goofy freedom, customization is actually solid, tons of outfits, it's offline. It's basically anime school life, but with like no rules. Moving down to number 15, we have Ace Force Blitz. And Ace Force is one of those games you open probably for a quick match. It's not a big game either, but then you realize suddenly it's about 40 minutes, later when you're deep into the game chasing wins. It's a pretty lightweight aerial combat game, but it does not feel cheap at all. Dogfights are pretty fast, clean, straight to the point, no waiting around, you just jump in, start flying and finishing missions. We've got a solid lineup of real-world jets, upgrading them actually makes a difference in fights. It's got quick one-on-ones, 2v2s, it's pretty simple, smooth and honestly just pretty fun. Perfect if you want quick actions without overthinking it. On another hand, at number 16, we have Arena Blast. And this one feels like one of those fast, no-nonsense shooters you hop into when you just want to frag and dip. Matches are pretty quick, actually pretty fun once you get the hang of the abilities, and each character plays differently enough to matter. Like, you will feel it switching from a sniper to that minigun dude with the jetpack, and really feel the difference. It's not super deep, but that's not the point. It's just a pretty clean arcade shooting you can grind for a bit and enjoy whenever you get the time. Now guys, previously we mentioned the game in our last video, and in case you missed it, it's really worth a mention because Order of Kings has been in the making for a very long time, and the global version just hit. It's now available on Android and iOS for free. It's real-time strategy based on the Three Kingdoms era, one of my favorites, trying to work with the old usual real-time strategy formula. Where like many strategy games, you're gonna be building cities, gather resources, span your territory while competing with the players across the map. Where it tries to stand out as the real-time battles. Instead of just simply relying on bigger numbers in this game, fights take place on open, big 3D battlefields of physics and terrain, playing an important role, which gives the combat a bit of Total War style feel. It's online about 3 GB in total and available on both stores. Why not? Hello Kitty Island Adventure apparently is just keep getting bigger. And well, in case you missed it, this new update adds a lot more to do. This is specifically for those of you who have put the game down and you want to come back. And if not, well, if you're new, you are definitely going to be in for a treat. You've got new arcade with mini games, shop for cosmetics, more ways to mess around with outfits and the characters. It's still the chill, cozy life sim energy, exploring, collecting, helping characters, but now there's more reasons to stick around daily. If you're into Animal Crossing style games but want something lighter, maybe even cuter, this one is honestly pretty easy to get hooked on. Well, look guys, with that being said, at number 19, we've got iSpot, which actually comes from a professional indie team, and for all the reasons, it's, I would say, a must-try if you're in need of a good logic puzzle game. Not only it's an offline game, it's free, low in size, but it's also quite jammed with free content. You guide this cute little small robot on ice grids, push crystal blocks until they hit obstacle, and match every block to its target in as few moves as possible. But believe it or not, that order creates deep, surprising logic puzzles here. It's got great music as well, over 60 different stages. It's got a fresh twist as well.
Oh, the human body.
With that being said, Bacon and Zane is actually still a couple of weeks off, but it's already making some good hype as it is with the way it looks. So you're in this game, you're basically a piece of bacon traveling through a human body. You could say it's a educational kind of game with a social battery, and I mean that in a good way because you can actually play and mess around in folks' guts with a friend online. There's a pretty loose goal with this game in which you just gotta find an exit and see what the next stage brings as a challenge. Anyway, it's a free game, it's an iOS exclusive and about 300 megabytes in total. Number 21, we have Runner Sector 13, some of the finest running games we've come across to play this whole year, where you're trapped in this dystopian medical facility down there. Nothing really feels real and everything screams danger. It's just the whole game is pressure chasing you down as you sprint and hope you don't hit a dead end. It's one of those games where your heart really gets raced, your reflexes are tested, survival becomes an instinct, pretty short, pretty sharp, and intense. The game actually nails that run for your life vibe. And it's also offline, about 200 megabytes in total. Going down to 22, we have the game Myths Action RPG, or rather MMORPG in a way. The game came out no more than a few days ago, and I gotta say, honestly, this thing handed one of those type of games that made me think it is serious business. It's an action RPG, of course. There's giants, there's bosses, all sorts of minions, pretty fast, fluid. It really feels like an ARPG on steroids at times. Solo dungeon crawling or 4-player co-op here both slap hard with the game. The heroes are straight up legendary. It's actually got Thor with Mjolnir. And other ones, of course, each one playing differently. The loot system's decent, gear actually matters, and upgrading feels pretty rewarding, not like a chore. If you want a new hack and slash with style and real depth, well, yeah, this is it. Now, on a slower side of things, we've got something here called the Puppets Casket, which is, I'm gonna say, one of those games that pulls you very slowly, but once you're deep enough, you really cannot let it go. You're stepping into this manor, chasing the legacy of a vanished genius puppeteer. The game's story is pretty rich, with all sorts of Victorian mystery, and it's all about puzzles, clues, and outsmarting this manor itself, which is alive. It's not horror, but it's got that eerie atmospheric vibe that keeps you on edge. The whole thing's hand-painted as well, with some nice, clever mechanisms and a narrative that actually rewards attention. On second thoughts, if you're planning on mentally preparing for the ongoing war in the Middle East and all around the world basically right now, you might want to pick up this Mighty Little Miss Gym, a fighting game where all world leaders out there to score some good punch and call it a day. It's a pretty good game for what it's worth. It's got some nice graphics, nice physics, a good cast of characters, and a decent grind to want to try at least all the characters. It's also pretty small in size. It's even playable offline, and it's getting so much good, nice reception and actually live service. Check it out. It's a free game and it's available on Android. And last but not least, at number 25, maybe this is one of the better games of the list as well. I don't know why it had to be the last one, because High Northern Lights, I would say, is in fact, a pretty weird game, and the reason being is it's a post-apocalyptic game, but it's meant to feel like a pretty relaxing and a cozy game. So you're driving around in a car with this witch with serious firepower and a friend, Rico. The witch is also, by the way, called Hike. And you're just blasting through mutants, spider giants, and other nonsense in kind of a messy, but really fun if you don't overthink it kind of combat. Each witch plays differently, and swapping characters mid-fight keeps things fresh. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do, like life sim games. Cooking meals for buffs add a little strategic twist, and there's a lot of conversation and just a ton of charming little details. Anyway, the good thing is the game's actually free. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.